Hi, welcome to another edition of Mark and Melody in the Kitchen.
Mark and Melody in the kitchen again.
Again. What are we doing today? It looks like you've been out walking in a cornfield.
We are up to our ears in corn. I mean,
yes, we are.
Get it? Ears.
You know, I love corn. Corn's one of I got it. Corn's one of my favorite vegetables. I love it. Mm-hmm. And we know corn to be a good complex carbohydrate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I always remember in the olden days, knee high by the 4th of July.
Is that really?
That was the old saying, yeah.
Well, you know, living back in the north, the cornfields, you can actually get out of your car and walk over, and they're much taller than we are, but when you're down in the south, they're shorter.
Really?
Yeah, they are. I don't know if it's different types of corn or just the climate.
Could be.
I've noticed
a little
that.
of both, yeah.
Yeah. So what are we going to do today with all this corn?
This right here is an entire bushel of corn. And
this is a bushel of corn.
we are prepping this for freezing.
For freezing.
So we're going to get it boiled off and then shock it in cold water. Just blanch it, shock it in cold water, and then freeze it.
So if I knew nothing about corn and how to freeze it, would I just take this corn on the cob like it is and stick it down in the boiling water?
No. We have to shuck all this.
We have to shuck corn. Oh,
Yeah.
shucks.
Oh, shucks. You know.
Well,
But,
does
you
that
know,
mean we need to start shucking?
Pretty quick here, yeah. You know the thing about it though is that people have a psychological fear of corn nowadays. Everybody's like, oh, I don't eat corn. That's bad for you. And you know, corn is one of the healthiest, best foods you could ever possibly eat. Mm-hmm. You know, you know more about nutrients than I do. You're like the nutrient genius.
Well, there are approximately 83 calories in an ear of corn.
In 1 ear of corn.
1 ear of corn. Now, we're not talking butter and all the junk you put on it. We're talking about a great ear of corn. And honestly, when I eat my corn, you've seen me eat corn. I don't put butter on my corn.
And we're not putting any oil, any salt, any milk.
Nothing
A lot of
in
people
there.
put milk in here.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
To make it creamier?
Commercial
Okay.
It gives it a...
But you're talking about 83 calories, and there's a lot of corn on there when you start eating it, because if you ever taken corn and cut it off the cob, and then you've got this big pile of corn there, and there's only about 8 grams of fat from that serving of corn, so it's less than 10% fat.
And I would guess a half a cup.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
So
at least half a
10%
cup.
fat?
Yeah, less than 10% fat on it.
So that's a good thing.
It is a good thing, but let's go further. Let's take the corn and process it.
Okay.
Let's make
well,
it.
let's not, but
But I'm just for the sake of talking, let's take it and process it. Now, if I want corn oil, and I'm using a tablespoon of it, now what are my calories?
corn oil is
Corn oil.
120 calories and 120 fat calories. So
it's 100% fat.
right.
And
right.
that's just from the
120
processing.
calories from fat.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
I don't know what we're doing.
15, 16. That is how much corn it takes to make a tablespoon
of oil. Right, exactly.
of corn
I knew that.
oil.
Yeah.
So if we're taking 16 ears of corn, I don't know about you, Mark, but I'd rather take this 1,200 or 1,360 calories and eat them with less than 10% fat. Well, I can't eat that in a day. I can't eat that in 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
And I'm getting all the great fiber, the complex carbohydrates. This is the fuel my body needs.
Yeah, and if you think about a tablespoon of oil, that's not a lot.
Plus, that oil comes with something. You're going to fry other foods in it, so you're getting additional calories. We're just talking about the oil itself.
Right.
Is 1 tablespoon, and it's approximately 16 ears of corn.
And then people wonder, what's the problem with our health in society today?
And then they'll say, oh, I can't eat corn. It's a bad starch.
It's a good starch.
It is a good starch. It's a good complex carbohydrate until we process it and make something else.
Yeah, look at the starch solution by Dr. McDougall. I mean, you have to have more starches in your diet. People are also psychologically brainwashed into thinking, oh, corn is all GMO. You know, you've heard that before. We've talked about that before. 90% of the corn is GMO, but 50% is for farm animals, 40% is for biodiesel fuels, and the other 10% is what the humans eat. And most of the corn is not genetically modified. Genetically modified corn, you can't even eat it. It tastes so horrible. That's why they have to spice it up. They have to do all these. But I would imagine that the oil that you're talking about could very well be genetically modified.
Could be
because they're just extracting.
They would use more of the field maize.
Right, they're just extracting.
That's what they're using
and
for
so you're going to get a lot of genetically modified. But if you get the whole kernel corn like this, you're not getting that genetically modified food, and that's what we want to do.
And I like, you know, I love polenta. I like the grit, you know, the dried corn, and they make it into a grit. That's good. It's less processed. I love to eat the corn by itself. I'm not so fond of canned food by any means because of the aluminum. Also, usually the sodium that they put in there. So I do like to freeze my corn. If I can't get it in season fresh, then I will buy it frozen.
Yeah. And that's what we're doing today. We're going to bag this stuff up after it's done and freeze it up and kind of show you a fast forward on the whole process. But there was one other thing too, was when it comes to the nutrients, it's going to have protein.
You know, surprisingly,
high protein.
It does. It has your protein. Everybody's so worried about protein. Trust me, just your fruits and vegetables alone gives you more protein than you need in a day because we don't need as much as what they say we do. Oh, I love corn. Look how beautiful, Mark. I mean, look at that. It's just absolutely beautiful. Do you eat your corn raw?
Once in a while, yeah.
I do too. Let me tell you, nothing tastes any better than fresh corn on a salad. Raw corn right over my salad.
In fact, we'll probably take a few of these and just cut them up raw so they're good to go. So, okay, well, I guess we're just going to shuck away, and we'll just speed up the camera, so we'll come back with the finished product. But let's get going.
What happened to that pile of corn?
And I'll tell you, what was that, less than 5 minutes?
Yeah, of course, they probably seen it in seconds because all the fast forwarding, I can imagine what that looked like.
But you know, people are always like, oh, I don't want to mess with it, it just takes up too much time, and this was no time at all. And
we haven't really, in real life time, how much we spent, 3 minutes?
Less than 5, yeah, probably 4, 3.
For all of that. I don't know how many years, but you got almost half of it in the water. Now, we were talking, whenever we were shucking, about what the purpose is of actually blanching the corn.
We're going to do a lot of recipes with this, and that's why we want these baggies that you'll do. But yeah, for cream corn, corn chowder is a big one that we're going to make.
Love corn chowder.
Different things like that. You got a few ideas too.
Oh, there are so many recipes you can use with corn. So hopefully, in a segment not far from this that we're going to have, we're going to show some of those recipes.
Yeah, and sometimes we'll just chop it off and throw it right in a salad. That's one of the biggest things to do. So this is going to go for about a minute, bring it to a boil for a minute, then we're going to shock it with cold water, do the other batch, and then we'll come back and show you the finished product.
All right. That was pretty simple, wasn't it?
Yeah, well,
I think it was.
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay, we shucked the corn and you put it in the boiling water. What did you do from that point?
10 minutes there. And then I just threw it right in the sink and gave it a little ice cold bath. Just shocked it in cold water. I didn't even use ice or anything, just shocked it in cold water.
Shocked it in cold water.
And there you go.
And all the little whiskers seem to come off. I mean, it's so easy. You don't have to sit and scrub. So, I mean, they're nice and clean and they're already blanched.
Yeah.
Now what?
Looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I could eat it just like that.
We are just going to start cutting away. Now you can cut it on a cutting board. A lot of people do that. I want to just show you a different concept to cut. You can take a plate and put it upside down here, and then you're going to just cut like this, and then all your corn kernels are going to stay right in the container. So that's kind of just a fun little clever way you can do things.
I normally do it the unclever way, where I've got more corn out there than I do in the dish. So I really like this. So
one way you can do it. I like doing it on the counter too, but I just wanted to show you a little concept that might work for you. So, but we're gonna get cutting, I guess.
Start cutting.
And cutting and bagging, right?
I will bag. I'm the bag lady today.
Let's cut and bag. Here we go.
And we're just using the quart freezer bags right now. And Mark is phenomenal about the organization of his freezer. And I'm just the opposite, honestly. But he's so good about freezing everything and stacking it so nice that you just open up the door, reach in, grab your frozen vegetable or whatever product, beans, you do rice, beans, just about everything. And some of you might wonder, well, why go through all the bother? Well, there's great reasons for that. One of them, Mark, is economic. It's so much more economical to do this yourself, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Especially if you have a large family, even if you're by yourself. I freeze for myself all the time as well. That way I don't have to go to the store, especially when the weather's bad outside and I'm home. And we don't get to stay home that much because we travel all the time, but it's really nice just to go to the freezer and grab what we want.
Yeah, it's all about time and money. And I would rather spend my time saving money,
My money.
and get a healthier product.
Oh,
So.
yeah.
All right, mess is cleaned up.
That didn't take long at all,
No,
did it?
not
I
at
mean,
all.
seriously, I know there was 2 of us, but like your children, it's a family project.
Yeah.
Even if I did it all by myself, Mark, this was an easy task to do. I've got something here.
And look how much corn you have. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And these are packed.
10 and a half, 11. Yeah, 11.
And I did look up on a can of corn, Mark, and do you know in a can, the average amount of sodium per can is almost 700 milligrams of sodium. That's for a can, and there's anywhere between 3 to 3.5 servings in a can.
So it's not just corn, but you're getting all the,
You're getting,
who knows if chemicals and...
You're getting the aluminum, you're getting the sodium, it's unreal. And this can, a lot of times you can find the canned corn for like $1 a can.
Yeah.
So we feel like we've got at least 4. So if we've got 40 cans here, so that would be $40, and it's far less. We paid less than half than that for the bushel.
Half the price. We saved $25 basically, and for an hour's work. I mean, how many of you are making $25 an hour at your job?
Yeah.
Well, look at you just made $25 for sitting at home, saving money, and so that's one of the biggest things is to save money.
Cost and the nutrition.
And the health, because you're not adding all the chemicals.
Exactly,
and salt.
you're getting it so natural. And folks, I'm going to tell you, I used to eat a lot of butter and salt and pepper on my corn. I have there's so much delight in just sitting down and eating corn now. I love the taste of the corn. I don't need to mask it anymore.
And so what do you got here? You've got corn, fresh on salads. You could just have it for a side dish.
Sure.
Pop it on potatoes.
Corn chowder, I love soup.
This is what this is going to be for. This right here, I'm making corn chowder. And so we're going to throw this in a pot and just make it basically like a stock pot.
Right.
And get all that flavor out of there and make a corn chowder.
Oh, I can't wait. Is that going to be an episode?
That's our next program.
Oh,
yes.
So, yummy. Yummy for us.
So there you go. I mean, it's easy. It's going to save you money. Kids can help, have fun in the kitchen, and teach them how to eat healthier.
Absolutely. Live a healthier life.
That's it.
And for less. You know, I get that a lot in my seminars. I don't know if you do too, Mark, but people are always questioning, oh, I'd love to eat healthy like this, but I can't afford to. they cannot afford not to.
Exactly.
And not just in their health, but financially. Because what was it you were telling me yesterday, a quote, was it Dr. McDougall had said?
No, Hans Deal.
Hans Deal?
Hans Deal, they did studies. Hans Deal's got the CHIP program. They've helped hundreds of thousands of people all over the world. And they found out that the average person who goes from a meat Western diet to a vegan smart diet saves about 40% in their grocery bills.
In cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and far less time in the kitchen. I mean, really, the way I cook now and I eat, I know when I'm here at Mark and we're filming together, we're cooking, it probably on average, do we spend more than 30 minutes preparing a meal?
Right. We'll spend a little more prep time like this, but then when it comes to getting a meal, boom, boom, we're done.
We're done.
Right.
That quick.
So it saves us on an every day when we're busy in our busy lives.
It really does. And I might devote one day to really doing some prep, freezing or something like that, especially during the canning season, when the fruits, vegetables are in season. But outside that, my kitchen time is zilch.
Yep. So there you go. A way to save money and eat healthier. And Mark and Melody in the kitchen again. And we'll see you next time.